Rampal Singh Jatin, we'll call him Rampal, everyone does, and 13 of his followers are currently under a life sentence in a central jail for the murder of 5 women and an infant, but they were exonerated of the original death of somebody previously simply because it was decided not to blame him for the actions of his followers. However, he is also convicted of leading 15,000 of his followers in criminal conspiracy and sedition. Sounds familiar if you're an American lately. He started out as a civil engineer working in the government of, I can't pronounce it, as in the irrigation department from 1995 backwards. Is the duration when this was done, right out of college. Sometime in 95-96, he met Swami Ram Dev Anand, who asked him, after he helped him become a follower of Sant Mat through the Guru Kabir Das and his Panth, or the Path of Kabir, asked him to start preaching. In 1999, Rampal founded an ashram in one village, and then more of them later on in other areas. He then started preaching against temple visits, which are traditional in a lot of Indian sects, religions, cultures, etc., as well as dowries, idol worship, donations, and untouchability, and against adultery, vulgar singing and dancing, and tobacco. Nobody ever just preaches against stuff that everybody can agree is bad. They have to include vulgar singing and dancing. Then he decided to claim to be a reincarnation of Kabir, whose path he was following. A reincarnation of his own teacher. A long time ago, this person existed in the 1500s, something like that. Then he decided all major religious scriptures confirmed that Kabir was a god, which is not something that all of them actually agree with, but of course it wouldn't be a zealot organization if their leader didn't say something that's patently not supported. Or is it supported? I mean, there might be something to that. I'm going to explain something. When I see a pattern of behavior that matches a snake oil salesman, I'm assuming that literally none of these scriptures that are cited actually back up what the person's saying. This is the act of, I dare you to hit my chip on my shoulder. I dare you to confirm that I just lied to you, because then we know you're not part of the group. Because he was then preaching piety, purity, and punishing supposed traitors, who then argued that the scripture didn't back up what he said, or that he shouldn't be treating himself as a reincarnation of someone and then declaring that person a god so that he then inherits godlike characteristics. And ironically, in 2006, he then criticized another religious sect to start an argument, maybe a civil war, depending on how large it is at the time. It was a monotheistic religion. He was against idol worship and a bunch of other things, but he went after this monotheistic organization. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter. This started a 2-year conflict that ended up injuring 200 people, and again, the previously mentioned, the reason he's now in prison for life, the murder of 5 women and the effective murder of an infant that died later in the hospital. November 2014, he and over 900 followers were arrested for those murders, and sedition, conspiracy, hoarding, illegal weapons, aiding and abetting suicide mongers. All but one of them were eventually given the life sentence I've mentioned. Now that's in 4 minutes the basic thumbnail sketch of what happened. Any organization that has the potential for zealotry must learn something from all of these occurrences that always happen. If your organization is a religion, it will either primarily be based on creating zealots that are an unthinking army of believers that cling to your organization, sometimes like a parasite, that will never change what they believe. If you change how your organization works, they will rebel against you, and then you will be... Yes, I'm talking about what happened to the Trumpians versus Republicans. I'm talking about people stabbing each other in the back. I'm also talking about the cult of personality-like behavior within the Democratic Party. And all religions are based on this. It doesn't matter if it's religion or organization of any kind. Anything can do this. There are fandoms that are obsessed with The Simpsons that are like this. No, I'm not kidding. There are people who are crazy, period, full stop, and they glom onto something that gives them some purpose. I'm a devotee of, let's say, the book 1984, and I might take it a little too seriously. I don't know there's any way you can take it too seriously. I mean, that's inappropriate. It is supposed to be taken seriously in one way as a warning, but it's not supposed to become a manual. Zealotry destroys every organization. So, now why am I doing this video? Someone suggested this because they decided to comment under a video about the Nation of Islam doing the same fucking thing. I made a video about a devotee of that deciding to ram, again, the Capitol building, because that's what zealots are going to do. The Capitol building of the United States has now become a place of attack. It was a place that most of you weren't even aware of, except every once in a while we'd hear about it. It's where, isn't that where the Congress, the House and Senate, and which one's which? And so anyway, then I get someone here posting religious stuff from Christianity and a mixed match of other stuff, including this guy I'm talking about. On and on and on. There's a guy in Britain that did the same thing. He created a cult-like thing, claiming to be a Swami when he was a British citizen. In all cases, please don't post this stuff. This is the stuff I fight against. Not because I'm against your group, but I'm against what always happens. There's only a couple of groups I know of that teach that you kick out zealots immediately when they're detected, so that you don't get these problems. They're not very popular religions, but they don't start wars, and their followers don't do these things. And I have to point out, the majority of people who follow one belief system, religion, or even political faction, including Republicans in this country, for instance, aren't zealots. When this happens, you have to kick out the zealots, or you have to give up that group and make a new one of yourself for yourself that doesn't include the zealots. That's how most of this fractioning occurs, zealotry. If you leave it just to the zealots, they burn themselves out after a while. But no, we have people embracing it. Anyway, this is a group of people that had zealots that attacked each other. One side was found guilty of the murders. There's a lot of other stuff that goes on, but it's not relevant. The basic point is, don't suggest to me someone who has been hauled off for doing something I'm trying to fight. That's not a better alternative to another organization I was also critiquing. I critique the actions of the group as something that you should be able to control and need to. And yes, it is true that the government in India, in that area, decided to do some things that are really hinky to try to control this group. But it was an army that claimed, and may have been confirmed as being over 100,000 individuals combined together from both sides attacking each other. This was something that was impossible to control and deal with at the time, and their method for it was to try to curb their behavior. How would you solve it? Please post below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.